what's the stage? Like, what literally?
The end of this line to the end of this line. Got it?
Dear fellow Toastmasters, did you ever grow up and believe in superheroes? Did you ever read the comic books and pretended you're Iron Man, Wonder Woman, or Superman? Well, I certainly did. You see, when I was a kid, I would read comic books and I would pretend I'm Captain America. I am Captain America. Or I would pretend I'm the Hulk. Or I would pretend I'm Batman fighting the evils. You see, when I was a kid, I really did believe in superheroes. I believed there was good guys and the bad guys. I believe there's good people out there who's going to fight the darkness of evil and make the world a better place. Well, when I got older, I gave up on superheroes. I became jaded, cynical. I felt the pain and alienation of youth. I felt there wasn't any superheroes again. But just recently, I started to believe in superheroes again. Because I realized that superheroes are no different than me and you. They're flawed, they have pain, they have demons. The only difference between superheroes and most of us is that they own their power, develop the power, and use their power despite their flaws, imperfection, and pain. I realized that superheroes are not just found in the comic books, but superheroes are real life, people like history, such as Abraham Lincoln, who saved the world from slavery, a person like Franklin Roosevelt, who basically freed the world of evil, or a person like Jonas of Arc, who basically invented a vaccine that saved millions of lives. These superhero gifts are not just found in the comic books. They're not found in people like Franklin Roosevelt or Jonas Arc. Superhero gifts are found in each one of us. You see, I believe that each one of us has superhero gifts waiting to be owned and developed. These superhero gifts might be the gift of singing, it might be the gift of business, or it might be a simple gift of being a parent. And the world needs people like me and you to own our gifts and develop the gifts and use it to be a better place. Being a superhero isn't easy. It isn't easy when the world becomes cynical, jaded, and disillusioned. It isn't easy to say to the world, I am somebody, I have gifts, I do count. But the world needs superheroes. The world right now is full of lifeless, sadness, and disillusionment. The world of evil. But we need more superheroes like me and you. We need the superhero gifts, such as like Bill Gates, who's using his superhero gifts not only toward the computers, but using his gifts to end the world of hunger. We need superhero gifts in the world of education. We need superheroes in all aspects of life. I encourage you, each one of you, to really own your superhero gift and develop it. I encourage you to form a team of other superheroes. Form becoming the superheroes in your community. Whether that community is this Toastmasters, whether it's a community in the state, the community in the world. I encourage you to accept that you have a divine purpose on earth. Because I truly believe, whether you're religious or not, all of us have this divine purpose on earth. That purpose might be to create a multi-million-dollar business. It might be to raise your kids. It might be to be your son's baseball team. But all of us can really have this divine purpose and use our divine purpose to make the world a better place. It isn't easy to be a superhero, because for me, I didn't realize I had gifts. I didn't realize that my gifts really mattered. I struggled with that for many years. I struggled with feeling the pain. How come you're different? How come you don't think like someone else? I experienced all the gifts of everyone else. I experienced all the pain and disillusionment. But I'm starting to realize that I can be a superhero and own my gifts. I encourage you, each one of you, to develop and own your gifts. I encourage you to be the light in the world of filled darkness. I believe that all of us, by developing our gifts, owning our gifts, and using our gifts, that we can make the world a better place. So to end, own your gifts. You have gifts to make the world a better place. The world needs superheroes. And I encourage each one of you to really become the superhero and really make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
We will take 1 minute of silence while they're collecting the votes. And you can come up if you need to set the stage during that 1 minute.
Stay on top. Is Ajit Dilamaran, and your title of your speech, Ajit?
It's time to show we care. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. It's time to show we care. According to statistics from North Carolina Institute of Waste Management, it takes about 75,000 trees to print a Sunday edition of New York Times. Let me bring you one more statistics. For all the paper that we waste every year, we could build a wall from New York to California. How many feet? A 12-feet wall from New York to California. These are statistics that show the amount of paper that we waste every day, every moment. There are several organizations which work towards reducing the paper wastage. There are several people who are putting a lot of effort here. Let's join them today. Let's reduce this wastage. Now, the big question, where do we start? We should start from our offices. Why? Because 70% of office waste is paper. That's why we should start from our offices. Can we replace paper? No, that is not the objective. We are not here to replace the paper. Paper has got beautiful advantages. It is portable, you can store it, it is easy to use, it is easy to handle. The beauty of reading from a book, we have got a lot of technology advantages. We have got the iPads, the Apple Kindle, we have got the smartphones. Can it ever replace the beauty of reading from the book? The warmth of touching the information as you read, it can never be replaced. So our goal, to be sure, it's not to replace the paper. Our goal is two things. One, to reduce the wastage. Two, to recycle used paper. Now let's get to how to address this issue. On the first issue of reducing the wastage of paper, we could do some few simple steps. And I'm very proud to say I follow these steps very religiously in my life. One, when you print a paper, you could always select print both sides instead of printing single pages. Always print both sides. It's going to save a lot of paper there. Two, when do you make sure your printed material is correct? Is it after you print or before you print? I have seen many people check it after they print. So you have a document in front of you, you print it, go to the printer and see, okay, this is not what I want, let me give it another print. That's not what you should do. You have got print preview. Every software has got it. Look at the print, look at the quality of your document, make sure it's right, and then print it. 3. What do you do when you want a page, one page from a document which is of 10 pages, 50 pages? Do you print the whole document and take out the papers you want? Never do that. I've seen people do that. They don't take a pain and single minute's effort to select the specific pages of the document and then print it. Always do that. And at home, there is one thing that you could do. For all the utility bills, all your bank statements, I would suggest you to go for paperless billing. It not only saves you paper, there's also something called identity theft. You might have heard about it. When you trash your utility bills, when you trash your bank statements, there are guys, smart guys, who take a piece of paper, find your identity, and steal your identity. You do not want to end up being a victim there. That's really nasty. I haven't fortunately gone through that, but it's really nasty. So when you do paperless billing, it avoids a chance of doing that. Now, let's get to the next part of it. Recycling. How do we recycle paper? I'm not really sure whether you are aware. There are several recycling centers around us. We have got one in Baldwin Park, close by. They pay us for the paper that we recycle. For all our used paper, you can just take it, cardboard, whatever, take it to the recycle center, give it to them, and get money. We should do that. And at the office, every office, I suppose, at least the office where I work, Southern California Edison, there are these recycle bins. There is this shredders. If you have a confidential document, shred it. If you have a non-confidential document, put it in the recycle bin. Do not put it in the trash, because they don't pick up in the trash and recycle it. They don't know what kind of trash is that. Even if it's a paper, they don't pick it from there. So always put it in there. These two recycle bins and the shredders, they are both recycled. This is one area where even the government agencies could help. I would suggest the government should provide some kind of incentive even for the companies which promote recycling of paper and reduce the paper wastage. So today, I recommend you to join this mission of reducing the paper wastage and recycle used paper. Let's save Mother Nature. Let's show Mother Nature that we care. Thank you.
the subject is the unconscious mind. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever heard about the unconscious mind or read about it? Many of you have. And yet, I think it's important for us to refocus on what the unconscious mind means, maybe one of the definitions we can come up with, and then see if we can get some positive feedback based on the knowledge of the unconscious mind. Let me start with a historical background very shortly. 400 years before the Christian era, Plato was one of the many philosophers that talked about the unconscious mind. Plato described the unconscious mind as an archetype. According to him, which later was disclaimed by science, we as humans are born with the unconscious thoughts. That's what he meant by archetype. Later, 2,000 years later, around 1892, Sigmund Freud discovered while he was practicing psychoanalysis that many of the patients that had psychosomatic illnesses actually shared similar traits, similar experience from their childhood. And we know, based on psychology, that he developed a full body of science called psychoanalysis. And based on that, he discovered a link between our experiences as children and our actions as adults. So that's the historical background that I bring to you tonight. As far as the definition of the unconscious mind, before I define unconscious mind, I will have to briefly mention the conscious mind. Our conscious mind is basically what I'm doing now, thinking what I'm going to say, thinking what I'm going to decide, and so on. Those are called objective thoughts. And those are the areas of our mind that produces thinking. The unconscious mind is different. The unconscious mind doesn't follow a process. For instance, the conscious mind follows like a binary system where it receives data from the outside and analyzes it, and then either accepts or rejects this data. As an example, if I go out tonight and it's dark, this street that I'm going to cross, and eventually or suddenly hear a car approaching, by the noise of that car, I determine quickly whether or not that car may hit me. And what is the decision I need to make if I'm in the middle of the street and hear a car coming? What do you think is the decision that I need to make? Stay out of the way. That's the main decision. Another decision you need to make quickly, and that's consciously, is whether you go back or move forward to get out of the way more quickly. So those decisions are made consciously. Unlike the unconscious mind, where there are many decisions you make in life, it may be lack, it may be poverty, it may be the tendency to do the wrong thing. And those decisions sometimes are just unconscious, and we are not aware of them. We need to become aware of that and use that knowledge to our benefit. So, going to the benefits of knowing the unconscious life, I can relate myself to the things that I have learned about. I have had several coaches on those areas, especially with the issues of fear. Fear, whether it's fear of lack, fear of success. Those things are ingrained in our brains somehow from some experiences from the past. And one of them is also, of course, the fear of public speaking. And what do you do about that? So all that is information that the study of the unconscious mind can help us with. So, to build on that, specifically, what can we do to benefit from the unconscious mind? One of the things I have done, and that has personally helped me, is face the challenge. Get out of the comfort zone and face the challenges and see how you progress. Of course, overall, I would think one advice I would give is that you surround yourself with positive people who can give you positive reinforcement, people who can give you positive feedback, and also people who can find value in what you have to offer. Those are things you can do. Generally, though, it's important also to watch your thoughts, because your thoughts eventually become actions. It's also important to watch your actions, because the actions that we take become habits. And of course, by this 5-minute presentation on unconscious mind, we know that habits have the tendency of becoming part of our unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind can definitely influence our success or failure in life. Madam Contestant Master.
We will now take 1 minute of silence for the ballots are tallied. I would like to call up our 4th contestant from Area H1, Beatrice Lewis. Beatrice, your speech title tonight is?
It's called Kahi Kill You Highway 365. So how many of you had breathtaking experiences? What you're about to hear is certainly going to take your breath away. Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters, and my honorable guests. We arrived at the Kahului Airport in Maui. So this is about my trip in Maui, Hawaii. So we entered into this magical island, and we were ready to explore all the attractions that Maui had. So we got down to ziplining, and next was snorkeling at the Molokini crater, whale watching, and then we went to hike above the crater, in the huge crater, above the clouds. Can anyone guess the name, because I'm so bad at names? It's the Haleakala. Haleakala. And then our next stop was at the Ihawo Needle, which is a huge rock, pillar rock, rising up to 2,000 feet, presiding over the beautiful Ihawo Valley. The place was beautiful. We went on a hike there, and we saw the exotic tropical plants, the clear natural pools, and we still had half a day left. And we were wondering, I was not satisfied. I said, I need to do something exciting. This is not enough. So my husband said, okay, instead of taking the path that we took coming from our resort to Ihawo Valley, he said, why not we go through the mountains? So I said, okay, let's do it. And we were joking and laughing and in high spirits. And all of a sudden, the road started getting narrow. And I was wondering, how, is this for one car? It was a one-lane road. And we were looking for warning signs, and we could only see a board, one board that said State Road ends. The road got so narrow. It narrowed down to the size of a golf cart path, pushing us to the edge of the cliff with the rock wall so close to the car as if going to hit it. I froze a bit, and I was telling my husband, something's wrong here. Either we are on the wrong side of the road, or this is a one-way road. And then what happened was, a car started coming, advancing from the opposite side. And I said, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? There's no place for two cars. And the car just stopped to one corner of the road. And then I told my husband, find out if we are on the right side. So we passed, and then the guy ushered us to pass by. So we passed by, and then we asked him, are we on the right side? And he said, yes, you are, but be careful. Have a nice day. So I said, you're right. Have a nice drive. Oh my goodness. So we kept going. There were the tight bends and the winding roads, and at every bend, I held my breath because you don't know what's coming on the other side. And after we passed the bend, can I have some water? I just couldn't try. And after we passed the bend, I heaved a sigh of relief. Oh, thank God we are alive. And there were no rail guards. And in the midst of it all, my husband is like, what are you doing? Where is the camera? Look at all those breathtaking scenes. And I was so mad at him. He couldn't even tell what was going on with me. I was so mad for putting us in this perilous condition. And I was telling him, just drive my breath. I'm losing my breath here. And my eyes were glued to the road. And then, as if that wasn't bad, it started to rain. And not just drizzle. It rained, thumping and pounding the car. And the wind was blowing and howling, as if to say, what are you bleeps doing on my mountain? Oh my goodness. Finally, that 15-mile road, we drove it for 2 hours to reach Sanity. We saw a wide 2-lane road in front of us. And guess the name of that road. It was called Ho Noa Pilani. As if to say, oh no, never again. And then later on I looked up the name of this perilous, treacherous road. And it said, Kahikili Highway 340. And I said, that's no Kahikili, it's Kahi, I'll kill you, 365 and a quarter days. Aloha. We will now take 1 minute of silence for the balance of hours.
begin our Area H4 International Speech Contest. Our first contestant is Dave Carson. And your speech title, Dave?
My Olympic moment. We have all been told that one way to be happy is to pursue our dreams. But the great German philosopher Goethe added something to that when he said, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. But the moment one definitely commits, then providence moves too, and all sorts of things occur to help, which otherwise never would have occurred. You know, I have always loved the Olympics and often dreamed of what it must be like to win an Olympic gold medal, to stand on that podium as the national anthem is played and the flag is raised in my honor. But only a dream, until one day I got an idea. I work for a wonderful nonprofit that I love called Care Youth League, and each year we hold a 5K run as a fundraiser. I've always been on the organizing committee, so I didn't compete. But last year it suddenly dawned on me that if I did compete, and if I could win in the 65 and older age division, and if I could convince the committee to hold a flag ceremony, well, my Olympic dream could kind of come true. There were obstacles. Obstacle number one was the committee. They didn't like the idea. I convinced them otherwise. They said, you know, there's not even a flagpole at the park where we have our event. And I said, I'll find a flagpole, I'll dig the hole, I'll get the flag up. But the biggest obstacle is the one you're looking at right here. This body, 72 years old. And in all those 72 years, never once had I asked it to run 5 kilometers, that's over 3 miles, without stopping. So, here I am, months before the event, in the park behind our house, often before daybreak, training this body to run a 5K. It was not a pretty picture. My lungs would be bursting, my heart just pounding, my legs crying for mercy. But I'll tell you this, every morning I said to those lungs, I said to that heart, I said to those legs, you just be quiet. Because we are going to stand on that podium as the anthem is played or die trying. You see, my dream had become a commitment. One more obstacle. The day before the race, I'm in the park putting up the flagpole. Worried that it may never be able to be used because the weatherman has said categorically 100% chance of rain tomorrow morning. Well, I knew the race was on, rain or shine. But I also knew no one was going to stand in the rain to watch my flag ceremony. The big day finally comes. We're all 300 of us on the starting line. The gun sounds and we start to run. And we run, and we run, and we run. It seemed to me like we ran forever. Clear out to the end of the park, where we turned around and started to head back. As we turned, I noticed up ahead of me a man with some silvery white hair. Looked to be in his mid-60s, maybe early 70s. I said to myself, that man is going to steal my gold medal. I have to catch that man. My legs said, Dave, we'd love to help, but we cannot go any faster. So, Mr. Silverhair goes off into the distance, and I'm thinking all this and no gold medal. Well, I finally got to the finish line, totally exhausted, kind of stumbled across the line and gasping for breath, and they began to announce the winners. And the men 65 and older, the bronze medal goes to, they didn't say my name. And the silver medal goes to, and again, they didn't say my name. So it's time for the gold medal. And guess what? Mr. Silverhair must have been younger than he looked, because they said my name. The crowd cheers. I am ecstatic. I step up on that podium. They put a gold medal around my neck. I turn to face the flag, put my hand over my heart, and then it happens. The anthem starts, the flag starts up the pole, and I am having my Olympic moment. As I stood there, I asked myself, does this feel as good as you dreamed it would? And the answer comes back 10 times better. I am just so happy. Afterwards, I tried to analyze what made that moment so special, and I came up with 3 things. Number 1, I didn't give up on my dreams. Don't you give up on yours. Number 2, I was part of something bigger than myself. True, it was not an Olympic medal around my neck, but it was a Kerry Youth League medal. And you know, bottom line, Kerry Youth League means more to me than the Olympics ever will. And third, well, I was just so grateful to be there. By nature, I'm a worrier, always worrying about the next problem. But for that moment, on that podium, surrounded by my friends with the anthem playing and the flag blowing in the back, I was just plain happy, just plain grateful. Gratitude pushed that worry right out of my mind. A final word about the rain. Remember what Goethe said? He said, when one definitely commits, then progress moves too. Well, not 3 minutes after my Olympic moment, that moment I had committed to months earlier, it started to rain. Everybody else scattered for shelter. I stood there, and it felt to me, as that rain came down, that God had smiled on my earlier commitment and held that rain off just long enough for me to have my Olympic moment. But you know, I'm nobody special. You commit to your dreams. You commit to a cause bigger than yourself. You commit to an attitude of gratitude. And Providence will smile on your life also. And all kinds of things will occur. Good things that will enable you to say often what I said that morning with my hand over my heart, I am so happy. Adam Toastman.
We'll now take 1 minute of silence while the ballots are being tallied. I would like to introduce our next Area H4 contestant, Darren Wu.
It's called A Straightforward Way to $1 million. How many of you, as grateful as you are to have your jobs, and you're not retired, you hope to retire pretty much everyone. And what are some of the things that you hope to do when you retire? Just shout it out.
Travel.
Travel.
Give to charity.
Give to charity.
Volunteer.
Volunteer.
Sleep in.
Sleep in.
Spend it.
Spend it. Okay. Great. Great answers. Last I checked, all of that costs money. And for some of it, a lot of money. Would it help all of you if you can retire with $1 million? Would it help you travel, spend it, volunteer? Well, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, today I'm going to share with you a very straightforward way to earn $1 million. And it's not a scam. You don't have to rob a bank. You don't have to buy a lotto ticket. It's a legit way to earn $1 million. Here are the numbers, because I majored in, so one of the good things that I'm good at is math. Here are the numbers. I've proven it. And in case you want to take notes, you can pull out your pen. Most of us, we enter the workforce after college, about age 25. And we work for about 40 years, and we retire at, say, about age 65. That difference is 40 years. 40 years. But just to be conservative, since some of us may start working a little bit later or just start saving money a little bit later, we'll give ourselves, instead of 40 years, we'll cut it down to 30 years. So 30 years, that's the first number here. 30 years. We need time to get rich. Doesn't happen overnight. And the second number that we need is, we need 8% interest. We need something that'll give us 8% interest every single year. And I'll get to that. The next number is the amount that we invest every year. And that number is $8,500. We need that every year for 30 years. And if you want to break that down on a daily basis, that works out to $24 a day for 30 years. You may be wondering, well, where can I find an investment that'll give me 8% interest every year? Like I said before, there are a lot of scams out there. Maybe you've heard of a few, maybe you've been victim of a few. But I'm going to share with you what the smart people in the personal finance community suggest for investing, and that's called index funds. Index funds, all they are a bunch of investments. They track a specific index. And if you have no idea what that means, that's okay, because the beauty with index funds is you don't have to be an expert stock picker. You don't have to look at the stock market every day, look at those confusing charts that go up and down and just scare you. You can just ignore all of that. The key is an index fund. And the specific index fund that I want to mention, it's called the S&P 500 index fund. And all that is, it's just the 500 biggest companies in America. And over the past 30 years of its history, that index fund, the S&P 500, has given a return of over 8% interest. So this S&P 500 index fund, that is the great place to begin investing, because that'll give you the 8% number that you want for the 30 years that you need it. And the good thing about this S&P 500 index fund is all the big major investment companies, they offer it, including if you work for Edison, Edison's 401k offers it. And the great thing about the 401k if you work for Edison is if you invest through their 401k, they will also give you extra money to invest through, it's called the employee match. So that means that instead of $24 a day with the employee match, you can now invest just under $24 a day. Of course, when you invest, there's always risks. You always take a risk, but one thing is for sure, you'll be a lot closer to reaching your goal of $1 million by investing than you'll be if you just sit down and do nothing. So in closing, I would just like to reinforce the 4 numbers. Again, it's $24 a day, it's $8,500 every year, it's an 8% interest with the S&P 500, and it's a time period of 30 years. But if you don't remember anything else from what I've shared with you tonight, just remember this. Just $24 a day, every day, and over a period of 30 years, we can all retire in Hawaii. We can all go to luau's every day. We can all eat Kulu pork every day. We can all drink pina colada every day.
Okay, that concludes our International Speech Contest. We will now take a moment of silence until all the ballots have been collected from the judges. Judges, please hold up your ballots when you have completed them. Mr. Chief Judge, please let me know when you have gathered all the ballots and you are ready to proceed.
All the ballots have been collected.
Great, thank you. I would like to ask that Garvin Gosong, A.G. Van Ruin, Alex Ramos, Beatrice Yuli, Dave Carson, and Darren Wu join me at the stage. Thank you all, and you may take a seat, and we will provide the results in a moment. I would now like to return the control over to contest Toastmaster Dave Moore.
Still hanging loose out there? Good, good. It's a complete disaster for me, actually, though. I'm almost completely out of fruit. I don't know how I'm going to fill time without fruit. I have one delicious kiwi left. And I could ask a trivia question, or we could make this last valuable prize the prize for the best Hawaiian attire contest that we didn't know we were having tonight. What do you think of that? I have this beautiful purple A. What do you think? Me?
No.
Who do you think?
Beatrice.
People embrace the theme, always speaks big knowledge, don't they? Very good. You guys enjoy the contest? Fantastic stuff. You did all this great stuff for us, aren't we? Very good, very good. So after I escaped Carnival Cruise in my lifeboat, many of you don't know this, I was actually stranded on an uninhabited island for about 3 months. It was very traumatic for me. No accommodations, no nothing, living off of coconuts and geckos when I can catch them. It's tough, 3 months. One day I'm sitting on the beach with Wilson. You guys can explain that to the other one. And I look out on the ocean, and I see a beautiful woman in a rowboat. She's rowing right at me. I said, where did you come from? She said, the other side of the island. I said I was stranded. I said I was good at being stranded. It was my first stranding, okay? So I get in the rowboat with her. She takes me all the way around to the other side of the island, takes me back to her place, pours me a cup of tea. Very nice. She says, well, I imagine you were over there for 3 months. There were many basic needs that were not getting met during that time. And it's going to be a while until the ship arrives, so I said, yeah, basic needs were not met. 3 months. Nothing but coconut and geckos. Some very essential needs not being met during that time. And I said, yeah, pretty essential. You know? She said, and one particular basic need that was not met that entire time. And I said, yes. You mean, and she said, yes. And I said, you have Wi-Fi? It's awesome. We watched some cat videos. Great stuff. I think we still have some time to kill. Does anyone know the 9 islands of Hawaii? Can we call them out?
Oahu.
Actually, there's 8 or 9. There's 8 major.
Kauai.
Kauai?
Molokai.
Molokai?
Molokai.
Kualai?
Big Island. Kono.
And the Big Island.
Yeah.
Very good. Y'all want to remember March 16th, right? Because you are all Kono. Can anyone tell me what that means?
Coffee.
No. No. It means family? Nope. Close.
Friend.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Kono means invite. I'll invite. You were pretty close though, so. So who's represented here? Which are the clubs that we have?
Valley Speakers, 269.
Valley Speakers, 269. Media Speakeasy. Chamber of Commerce. Irwindale. The Breakfast Club. Awesome. Heard of that club. The Friendly Club. Nice to meet you.
LA Works Masters.
LA Works Masters.
Southern California.
Rib Orators. We're at the River Grade facility. Very good. Available for speaking engagements, weddings, bar mitzvahs.
Edison Sweet Talkers.
Edison Sweet Talkers in the house. Very good. Thank you. We now have, I believe we still have 12 clubs, Southern California Edison.
11.
Thinking correctly. Is that right?
11.
Is it 11 now? 11. 11, so we have Who knows some other Hawaiian words? The Hawaiian state fish. Okay, I did not look that one up. Say again? How do you keep that in your head?
He made it up.
Cookie Roka.
Dave.
I had any other
Dave.
trivia? Yes, sir. Oh, the tickets. So who?
I have the winner.
We have the winner. Oh, we have the contest. Oh, the winners. Okay, very good.
We have him on
You
the
guys
board. We
ready?
have him on
You
the
got your
board.
tickets handy? Yes, sir. Am I doing the drawing? You got it? Okay.
Okay, actually, for everybody, we have all the winners here, and it's on the board. And all the prizes are numbered 1 through 14, so you can actually match your number. But I'll just go through it, and you have to give your ticket to the pretty young ladies over there. The first is 417816. Second is 417. They're all 417s. I'll just read the last number. 816, 711, 842, 708, 772, 824, 565, 610, 648, 679, 569, 744, 701, and 736. Congratulations. And all the numbers are here.
Thank you very much,
So if you have the winning ticket, why don't you come on up here and then bring us the ticket.
Yeah, if you announce all three, third place and second place. And then do the children.
I qualify.
Thank you.
have everything calculated, and I'd like to go ahead. It's been a pleasure, by the way. I hope you all had a great time. It's great to be a part of these contests. It was wonderful. Anyone who hasn't competed, please compete. It's a great thing to do, and I'm going to welcome back Area H4 Governor Sandy.
We're starting out with
Peter Lynn?
All right, here we have the winners. Table topic, area H1. Third place, Ajit. We have Beran. Second place, Stephen Liang. All right, trumpet. Fabian Page. No, we don't have pictures.
No one's taking pictures of this?
Area H4, second place, Simon Andrew. First place, Maria Rodriguez. Thank you all.
And for our international speech contest, we will start out with area H1. Our third place is Beatrice Bewley. And our second place is Garvin Bouton. And our first place is Alec Ramos. We will move on to area H4. Our second place is Darren Wu. And our first place is Dave Carson.
Toastmaster moment.
Appreciate our help to support our
Speech.
contest. All their name and have them participate. Extend our appreciation. Beatrice Ulis. Please come here. We want to appreciate you for supporting us contest winner.
Clara Tida for our assistant timer and decoration.
Casey Wan. Trump as our division treasurer.
And Michael Alexander as our chief judge.
Blue, Comcast register.
That yellow there.
And Wendell Beard as a contest judge.
Is at 31.
Jesse Alvarado.
Come on, Jesse.
Extra long cartridge.
And Lori Bristow for participating.
Constance Hadley, our inspiration.
And Linda Ulrich as our contestant.
Ricardo Dorado, Sergeant at Arms.
And they call on a chief judge and let you pick up mine too if they have.
And Lori Lincoln.
Troy Funk.
And Jet Lee.
Sean.
Ed Morris, Master Ceremony.
As our opportunity drawing chair.
Okay, by the way, somebody didn't pick up their earrings, and the winner is 7-Eleven. So if you have 7-Eleven, these earrings are yours. You got it? Hand delivered.
A last-minute surprise without a participation certification with Edna Halka, and we do want to recognize congratulate him on his speedy recovery with his health issues. He's really gone through a lot, and we're just thankful he's here. I'm sorry, I was not expecting that. It was quite a surprise to me, and I'm so thrilled that.
Elisa Heredia.
And we're exchanging certificates. Peter Lynn. We've done our opportunity drawing. Something good. Get everything.
Let's give a round of applause to our two area governors, please.
To the next level, our
Park Division contest coming up on
March 16th.
March 16th.
That's on Saturday, that's in the same place. If you can, please do attend. We do promise you, you're going to have some good food and a very good show too. Thank you everyone for coming.